Welcome, fellow seekers of the truth, to Shadow Files, secrets they don't want revealed. Tonight, we venture into a place of breathtaking beauty and profound mystery, a landscape that serves as the backdrop for one of the most disturbing and persistent enigmas in the modern world. We are going to the remote, rugged wilderness of Northern California, to a vast national park that has earned a sinister nickname among those who know its secrets, the Devil's Playground. On the surface, it is a paradise. Towering ancient redwoods, some older than Christ, reach for the sky, their canopy creating a cathedral-like silence on the forest floor. Cascading rivers carve through deep canyons, and meadows bloom with wildflowers. It is a place of postcard-perfect serenity, drawing hundreds of thousands of hikers, campers, and nature lovers every year. But beneath this idyllic veneer lies a different reality, a chilling statistical anomaly that has baffled law enforcement, terrified seasoned search and rescue veterans, and left dozens of families in a state of perpetual, agonizing limbo. Over the past 2 decades, 37 people have walked into this park and never walked out. They have vanished as if plucked from the face of the earth.
No bodies.
No skeletal remains.
No scattered belongings.
Just silence. These are not simple cases of people getting lost. The patterns are all wrong, the circumstances defy conventional explanation, and the sheer number of disappearances in one concentrated area points to something far more complex and terrifying than mere wilderness accident. To understand the depth of this mystery, we must first understand the stage upon which it plays out. The park itself, which we will refer to by its local, ominous moniker, the Devil's Playground, sprawls across nearly 1 million acres of some of the most rugged and topographically complex terrain in the United States. This is not a gentle, manicured park with clear signage and easy trails. This is a true wilderness. The geology here is a chaotic jumble of canyons, sinkholes, and razor-backed ridges. The ground is a labyrinth of fir waves, dense, tangled thickets of young Douglas firs that are almost impossible to navigate. There are caves, some documented, many not, that plunge into absolute darkness. The rivers, fed by snowmelt and rain, can become raging torrents in minutes, capable of sweeping away a full-grown man with ease. The weather is notoriously mercurial. A sunny, warm day can transform into a fog-shrouded, freezing downpour in under an hour. Visibility can drop to zero. The canopy of the redwoods is so dense that it often blocks GPS signals and disrupts radio communication. It is a place that demands respect and preparation, a place that can easily turn a leisurely hike into a fight for survival. But as we will see, the stories of the 37 suggest that even the most prepared, even the most experienced, are not immune to whatever force is at work here. Let us begin with the cases themselves, for it is in the chilling specific details that the pattern and the profound mystery emerges. We will not list all 37, that would be an overwhelming litany of sorrow. Instead, we will focus on a handful of representative cases that highlight the bizarre and recurring elements that tie these disappearances together. Consider the case of Michael Reynolds, a 45-year-old experienced outdoorsman and former Eagle Scout. In October 2008, he embarked on a solo 3-day backpacking trip on the well-marked Redwood Creek Trail. He was meticulous, leaving a detailed itinerary with his wife. 2 days into his trip, he made a routine satellite phone call to check in. The call was cheerful, unremarkable. He was enjoying the scenery, he said, and was about to set up camp for the night near a specific landmark known as Elk Meadow. He never made his scheduled call the next morning. When he was reported missing, a massive search was launched. It took searchers 2 days to locate his campsite. What they found has become a hallmark of the Devil's Playground disappearances. The tent was perfectly intact, pitched correctly. Inside, Michael's sleeping bag was laid out, his backpack was propped against a tent pole, and his wallet, keys, and phone were neatly arranged on top of his sleeping bag. A pot of water was sitting by a cold fire pit, as if he had been about to boil it for dinner. The only thing missing was Michael. There were no signs of a struggle. No animal tracks. No torn fabric, no blood. It was as if he had simply stood up, walked out of his tent into the pitch-black night, and evaporated. The most extensive ground and air search in the park's history, involving over 200 personnel, drones, and scent-tracking dogs, found not a single trace of him. He is still missing. Then there is the haunting story of the Fletcher family. In June 2015, Mark and Sarah Fletcher, along with their 6-year-old daughter Lily, were on a day hike to see the famous Titan's Grove of giant redwoods. It was a popular, heavily trafficked trail, considered safe for families. Witnesses saw them at the grove, taking pictures. Lily was laughing, chasing butterflies. On their way back, on a clear, wide section of the trail, Sarah stopped to tie her shoe. Mark and Lily walked ahead, just around a gentle blind curve in the path. When Sarah stood up and rounded the curve just 30 seconds later, they were gone. The trail was straight and visible for hundreds of yards in both directions. There were no side paths, no steep drop-offs. It was a stretch of trail where it was physically impossible to get lost. Yet, her husband and daughter had vanished in the space of half a minute. Search teams descended immediately. Scent dogs were brought in. They picked up a strong scent trail that led from the path, and then it simply stopped abruptly, in the middle of a flat, open area of ferns. It was as if the two had been lifted from the ground. No screams were heard. No clothing was found. To this day, the case remains open, a terrifying testament to the speed and silence with which the Devil's Playground can claim its victims. Another recurring and deeply puzzling element is the behavior of technology in the moments before and after these disappearances. The case of Chloe Bennett, a 28-year-old graduate student and avid trail runner, is a prime example. In August 2019, she was running the challenging 20-mile Ridge Run Loop. She was using a high-end GPS watch that tracked her location and uploaded it in real time to a website her friends could monitor. Halfway through her run, she sent a text message to her boyfriend that read, "This is so weird.
The fog just rolled in out of nowhere. Can't see the feet in front of me.
GPS is going haywire." That was the last communication anyone ever received from her. Her GPS data shows her continuing on the trail for another quarter mile at her normal pace. Then the data points show her making a sudden, sharp 90-degree turn off the trail, heading straight down a near-vertical slope, a move that made no geographical sense and would have been physically impossible for even an elite runner at that speed. The data points continue, showing her moving in a perfectly straight line at an impossible speed of over 10 miles per hour through impassable terrain for another half mile. Then, the signal vanished. Search teams scoured the entire area indicated by the final GPS points. They found nothing. No footprints, no broken branches, no sign that any human had ever been in that location. It was as if the device had been reporting the location of a ghost. These are not isolated incidents. The files are filled with similar stories: experienced hunters vanishing from their blinds, leaving their rifles behind, groups of friends where one person falls behind for a moment and is never seen again, children who wander just out of their parents' sight line and are gone forever. The official explanations, when they are given, often feel inadequate. Succumb to the elements is a common conclusion, but it fails to explain the lack of a body. In a forest teeming with scavengers, a body will be found. Animal attack is another, but predatory animals do not consume an entire human being, along with their boots, bones, and backpack, without leaving a single trace of evidence. No blood, no drag marks, no scattered clothing. Getting lost is the most common, but it doesn't explain why these individuals, many of whom were on well-defined trails, would suddenly and inexplicably bolt from the path into terrain that is objectively terrifying and difficult to navigate. This leads us to the theories, the attempts to explain the inexplicable. The first category is the conventional, naturalistic explanations. As mentioned, the terrain itself is a lethal predator. There are countless hidden sinkholes and abandoned mine shafts that a person could fall into, their bodies never to be recovered. Flash floods can wash away all evidence. The ground can be incredibly unstable, with landslides a constant threat. Then there is the possibility of a human predator. Could a serial killer or a community of reclusive squatters be living in the park, preying on visitors? While law enforcement has never ruled this out, the logistics are daunting. To abduct 37 people over 20 years without leaving a single witness, a single piece of forensic evidence, or a single body, would require a level of sophistication and luck that seems almost supernatural in itself. Furthermore, many of the disappearances occur in areas so remote and difficult to access that the presence of a predator lying in wait seems implausible. This brings us to the more speculative, and far more chilling theories. The local Native American tribes, whose history in this region stretches back millennia, have long held legends about this particular stretch of forest. They refer to it as a place of bad medicine, a thin place where the veil between worlds is weak. They speak of ancient malevolent spirits that inhabit the rocks and the trees, entities that are not of this world and that view humans as intruders. Some tales describe a specific creature, a trickster spirit that can mimic human voices, luring people off the trail and deep into the wilderness where they are never seen again. The tribal elders generally avoid the deepest parts of the park, and they have warned outsiders for generations to do the same. Are these just myths, stories to explain the dangers of a harsh land? Or are they a cultural memory of a very real and present danger that modern science refuses to acknowledge? Another theory that has gained traction, particularly among researchers like David Paulides, who has documented these clusters of missing persons across North America, involves the possibility of paranormal or extraterrestrial intervention. The sudden, silent nature of the abductions, the lack of evidence, and the bizarre technological malfunctions have led some to speculate about UFO activity. Could these people be being taken for reasons beyond our comprehension? The idea of a portal or a dimensional rift in the area is also discussed. This could explain the sudden, complete vanishings and the way scent trails and GPS signals abruptly terminate, as if the person had stepped into another reality entirely. Then there are the more grounded, yet still fringe, scientific theories. Some geologists have pointed to the unique mineral composition of the area, which contains large deposits of magnetic iron ore. Could this be creating localized magnetic anomalies that disrupt not only compasses and GPS, but also the biological navigation of humans and animals, causing a form of temporary, extreme disorientation? Could there be infrasound, low-frequency sound waves below the range of human hearing, generated by the wind through specific geological formations? It is known that infrasound can induce feelings of dread, paranoia, and even visual and auditory hallucinations in humans. Could a hiker, exposed to such a frequency, be driven into a panic-stricken flight, running blindly away from their camp and into the wilderness? The truth, as it stands today, is that we do not know. The Devil's Playground guards its secrets well. The 37 missing are more than just statistics. They are fathers, mothers, sons, and daughters. They are people who entered a place of majestic beauty and encountered something they could not comprehend. The official files may be closed, labeled as accidental or unknown, but for the families and for those who study this phenomenon, the case is very much alive. The park continues to draw visitors, and the silent, watchful presence within it remains. The pattern suggests that it is not a matter of if another person will vanish, but when. The story of the Devil's Playground is a profound and unsettling reminder that there are still places on this earth that defy our understanding, places where the rules of our modern world seem to break down. It forces us to confront the uncomfortable possibility that the wilderness is not just a passive backdrop for human adventure, but an active, intelligent, and perhaps even malevolent force. It challenges the very core of our belief in a rational, explainable universe. This deep dive into the heart of the Devil's Playground and the mystery of the 37 missing has been a journey to the edge of the known. If this investigation has unsettled you, if it has made you look at the deep woods with a new sense of unease and wonder, then show your support. Like this video. Your engagement is what fuels our search for these hidden truths. Share it with anyone who believes that the world still holds deep mysteries. And I must know your thoughts. Leave a comment below. What do you believe is happening in the Devil's Playground? A tragic confluence of natural dangers? The work of a human monster? Or something else, something ancient and unseen that we have forgotten how to perceive? The stories are waiting. The truth is out there. Thank you for watching Shadow Files, secrets they don't want revealed. Stay vigilant.